This video presents content from Chapter 3 of the book Sustainable Living and World Peace, from a section entitled View People on a Human and Personal Level, Not Just on a National Level. Just as our PAL virtue originates at the personal level of the individual, viewing people on a human and personal level is the correct human perspective we need to work toward a PAL sustainable world. This perspective puts the correct perception of the individual as the sustainable driving force in our minds, not governments or leaders of nations. We want people to embrace our diversity in all aspects of our lives and to see each other as equals. We want all people to be able to make the most of themselves, make the most of their opportunities, and even create opportunities for themselves and others. We hope people throughout the world can create value sustainably and have the chance for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, while helping others to pursue the same. It is only right to try to help people wherever they are and hope the best for them in peaceful relationships just because they are people, with no apparent benefit to us, even though there actually is benefit to us. In addition to simply being the right thing to do for people, this also adds the benefits through increased stability, increased economic activity, increased opportunity, and increased chances of better things in general. After taking into account and accommodating for differences in cultures and societies, the PAL virtuous way to treat people in one country is the PAL virtuous way to treat people in another country. There is no room for arrogance in understanding and considering human freedom and equality. There should be no feelings of entitlement of people of one nation over the other when we are confronted with the truth of all people being created free and equal. Some people are not more equal than others just because they are born in a certain country. Even though we will be in sovereign nations, we are still equal people throughout the entire world. The national news often brings us personal stories of people around the world, showing them in a time of strife. This is done because reporters and broadcasters know that people are naturally interested in the well-being of others, no matter where the afflicted people are. If we hear of a child disappearing, a plane crash, or a natural disaster affecting innocent people and their families, we naturally respond with empathy on a personal level, no matter what country the people are in. When we see a picture or hear a story of a child that was homeless or suffering in a foreign country, we would naturally feel sorry for that child. We would be empathetic toward the child and his or her family and hope better for them. Anytime we know of people suffering, regardless of their nationality or ethnicity, we feel empathetic toward them and sincerely hope that something good would come their way. If we could see that the child and his or her family were not only helped at that time, but were actually able to get back on their feet and be successful, that would be even better. If we could see them enjoying themselves during a holiday, enjoying a better financial situation, or being happy together, that would affect us on a personal level, and we may completely forget about their nationality or their government's relationship with ours. On the other hand, we may be told that increased economic attainment for the country the child lives in could be seen as a strategic threat. We may be told that this child's country may be able to develop a larger military as a result of a robust economy. When we see people on a national scale, people living under a certain government in this case, with possible military and strategic ambitions, we could possibly end up not wishing the people living under that government the best. For certain, if another country's government is perceived as also being a military threat, then what people in other countries begin to focus on is that country's military threat instead of good things about that nation. People perceiving a threat may lose the special appreciation of the threatening nation's people as human beings. We can potentially be swayed to not even consider people from other countries on a personal level at that point and look at them only as members of a government that has ambitions in opposition to our government. However, if we know or can understand the person on a more personal level, we do wish him or her the best and maintain a more personal and human concern. The later way to live is the better part of our humanity, and it is the PAL sustainable way. How would you react to those people if you were there and had a chance to talk to them and experience their lives? Living on those terms, the personal scale, is where we want people to be. It would be best to see that people there and everywhere are a lot like us, created equal with common human sentiments. Once again, the level of the individual with individual responsibility, individual virtue, and real human feelings is where PAL sustainability will originate. How can we help people there and in other countries add value and opportunity for themselves while having assurance that these resources are not going toward expanding militaries and unsustainable warfare machines? How can we promote peace and prosperity and expect to get the same back? These positive things will happen when PAL virtue prevails over the ignorance, politics, and paranoia that currently cloud our minds and direct our actions. You should be able to fully comprehend that this explained way of thinking in no sense should be looked at as an effort toward globalization thinking. Quite the contrary, this way of thinking should all the more be able to preserve our identities, individualities, and sovereignties. Additionally, this way of thinking shifts responsibilities of our relationships away from government and more onto the people of each nation as self-determining individuals. On the human level, people of one nation may not have an issue with people in another nation, or a culture in one area may not have an issue with a culture in another area. But governments in one place may have issues with a government in another area. We can look at a person from another country and see them as a possible global adversary to be worried about, someone that should be kept down so that they will not threaten us militarily, politically, or strategically. Alternately, we can view them as the Declaration of Independent States and see them as equal people with certain unalienable rights. These are our values in the United States, and we need to remember them in our interactions with other peoples and other nations. Can we be an example to others regardless of how they see us right now? Do you think they could be receptive to building upon relationships based on PAL virtue if we treat them as free and equal and worthy of all the respect of free and equal people? We need to be explicit and sincere in our words and clear in our actions so that they know this is how we want to treat them. They need to know that they can expect treatment from us this way and that we wish the same from them. We can think of the golden rule and how we can apply it to people near us, in our family, towns, and nation, and people far away from us, people in other countries, people with other cultures and religious beliefs, and people of the future, and see that the golden rule pertains to all people. It is up to us to apply it and figure out how to do it. There is a way to make it happen internationally and globally, but it starts with the virtue of each person individually and viewing other people on a personal and human scale.